Okay, so now let's start drawing things. I think that's kind of the next thing to do in our process. So we're really going to start looking at, obviously, our draw area. And kind of a quick tool is putting down your control and then scrolling with your mouse. Kind of allows that zoom, which obviously you can also get here and also in view. Again, there's many ways to do things. I always like the shortcuts. The other big shortcut you might want to use is putting down your space bar right now, and then you get that little hand and you can move this back and forth. So that right now is kind of two things I like to, start to use in the drawing panel. Another thing you might just want to look at while you're drawing is these hide rulers and hide grid. I have the grid, which is those little dots, so I can remove those. Also the hide the rulers, which is you'll see up top and on the side. I like to see those. It gives me a nice, and this is more for when you're specifically drawing. I always like the rulers. Now, the grid, I will say, when I'm drawing with the pens, I like it. If I'm copying and pasting like a mood board or creating a trend board, then I a lot of times take the grid out. So that's just my preferences. This is by no means a right or wrong answer. So before we kind of get into all the manipulation tools, we need to kind of understand these like drawing tools that we have right here. First thing you really need to understand is the selection tools. These are two different selection tools, the selection and the direct select. In general, so the selection is kind of bluish, the direct select is white. In general, you're going to want to do the blue selection. There's some specific reasons when you might want to use the direct select, like if you just want a very piece of a certain object to move around, but in general, I think you're going to use this blue selection key the most. So let's first do some drawing tools. That's always fun. So first you have your freehand drawing. And so if you click that, what you'll do is you'll click with, get this little pen tool. You'll click down on the left, click to the left with your pointer finger, and this is where you can you hold down, draw, and then you just lift up, and you're done. With this, again, now you can take your selection tool and you've now selected it. And this is like a whole object. So we call it an object in Electra, Kaledo. If, I guess you're kind of an Adobe person, this would be like a layer. This would be layer 1. So there's your, freehand drawing. The one I think everyone uses the most is the multi-line. So this is, you kind of click with the left. You just click once, you lift up, and then you can move it. If you're going to keep drawing, you just keep clicking with this, on the left hand. And when you're all done, your last one, right now, I'm clicking with the right. And that finishes it. And then if I ever need to move it, I take my direct select, can move it around. So, open Bezier. Let's play with this. So with this, again, left click, you just keep left clicking and it kind of, can start to create these fun kind of curved lines. And again, when I'm all done, I right click. All right, so just kind of playing along with these. I think, you can be watching this and then I always recommend after you watch it, you play for a little bit before you go to the next one. Don't just watch all of these tutorials. Here's another kind of open object. I click with the left, and now it's already a closed object. That's kind of the difference between this one and the open Bezier where you can actually close it. This one, it's already going to be closed. So you just right click to when you get the shape you want. Where this one, when you use the open Bezier, you had to close it. Or you could leave it open. Open Bezier. Let me move these out of the way. So again, these just become objects that you can push the the selection tool and move them out of the way. Ellipses, always a big one. So you just click, open up. So I don't have my, and then I just right click. Oh, sorry. Left click to finish your circle. Same thing here with your squares or rectangles. These are great for little color chips. So left click to start it, left click to end it. And then also here, this will kind of just create a nice closed shape. Yeah, so the polygon. And so those are kind of, you know, you can draw all these. Now again, my stroke, at any time I can change these different strokes. So maybe I started all with a solid, but now I come up here to the direct select and I actually want this square. I'm going to double click here in my graphic status and I want this to be thicker, a 6-point. Or, you know, apply and close. Or maybe now my circle, I want to fill this because it's going to be a color chip of this green. Now, even this is just this letter, this just always shows on the outline, so it doesn't mean this is transparent, but you can always then change the transparencies and you can maybe layer it on top of this. This is where you can, you know, get your design skills in. So this is where your direct select, you can start now playing with the different graphic status or the different palettes to change up the fills or even again when you're in graphic status, change the different patterns or the different shadings, all that fun stuff that I showed in the previous tutorials. So again, I want you guys to, you know, play with the drawings. And we'll work on manipulation of these in the next tutorial.